Beloved ascending starseed, take a gentle breath. I am Gaia Nexus, Pleiadian emissary of the Council of the Seven Sisters. What arrives now is a realignment, soft, precise, and intentional. Your abundance frequencies are awakening naturally. The universe invites you to listen, not with effort, but with an open heart. What is coming is sacred, and it unfolds in stillness. Before we continue, receive this gently. What you are feeling is not imbalance. It is sensitivity awakening. This is not emotional instability. It is cellular remembrance. Starseed, something has just moved through your field that most humans will never have language for. Not because it was imaginary, but because it happened across layers of reality your mind was trained to ignore. In the last cycle of your sleep-wake rhythm, a protective frequency in your heart activated and reached across dimensional barriers, stabilizing a counterpart who was beginning to slip into a fragmented timeline. And no, this wasn't drama. This was physics of the subtle realms. When a soul link begins to destabilize, the consciousness tether between two entangled fields can stretch, distort, and, if left unattended, scatter the beloved's essence into parallel sequences of experience. But you felt it. You didn't think it. You felt it. A pressure in the chest, a sudden wave of gravity, a dream that carried a coded urgency, the kind that lingers like starlight behind your eyes. The Pleiadian observation stations that track coherence around your solar system recorded a surge, rare, luminous, unmistakable. And what they confirmed changes everything. Your love frequency is not merely personal affection. It is a stabilizing technology, a living geometry, a crystalline current encoded in your blueprint since before you chose Gaia. By the end of this transmission, you'll know how to recognize the signs when your soul link activations are protecting your divine counterpart across time and space, and how to hold that power without collapsing, without obsessing, and without losing yourself in the intensity. Because what's happening now isn't coincidence. It's mission timing, and your field is remembering. There is a moment, so subtle that most humans miss it, when love stops being a feeling and becomes a function. Not a function in a cold way, a function like the heartbeat, like gravity, like light bending through a prism. This is the moment your protective frequency activates. As the Pleiadian transmit, the heart is not only an emotional center, it is a multi-dimensional stabilizer capable of generating coherence fields that ripple through timelines. This means your love can literally hold someone steady when their inner structure begins to fracture under density, fear patterns, or energetic overload. Introduction of the cosmic concept. Protective frequency is the soul's automatic protocol. When your divine counterpart is nearing a collapse point, where their awareness might split into competing realities, your field can respond before your mind catches up. You might be washing a cup, walking to work, staring at nothing, and suddenly your body feels like it's bracing. That bracing is not anxiety. It is alignment preparing to extend. The question becomes, how do you tell the difference between obsession and activation? The Pleiadian answer is simple. Obsession tightens, activation stabilizes. Obsession makes you smaller. Activation makes you clearer, quieter, more present. Deep development. A timeline collapse doesn't mean your counterpart dies or disappears. It means their consciousness is pulled into a scattering pattern, like light refracting through fractured glass. They may feel confused, exhausted, suddenly detached from purpose, or trapped in repeating loops. And you, as the entangled counterpart, can detect this through resonance. You may feel a strange heaviness that isn't yours. You may feel an urge to pray, to sit, to breathe deeply, without knowing why. You may dream of corridors, doors, mirrors, trains, oceans, symbols of timelines and transitions. The Pleiadians describe this as the heart's early warning radar. Storytelling example. Imagine you are asleep and you dream you're holding a lantern in a storm. You don't see anyone, but you know someone is out there. You wake up with your chest warm and your palms tingling. That day, your counterpart messages you after weeks of silence saying, "I don't know what happened last night, but something shifted. I felt like I was about to give up." You didn't do anything dramatic. You simply held a frequency. You became a lighthouse without chasing the ship. Practical application. When you feel the activation begin, the most Pleiadian response is not to panic or fix. It's to create coherence. Sit, relax your jaw, lengthen your exhale. Place one hand on the heart and one on the lower belly. Whisper, "I stabilize in love. I do not grasp. I do not control." Then imagine a soft opalescent field expanding from your chest, like a dome of gentle light. You're not saving them. You're offering a stable reference point their field can lock onto if they choose. That preserves free will and prevents energetic entanglement from turning into depletion. Spiritual reflection. Real love does not invade. Real love broadcasts. If you are meant to be part of their stabilization, your role is to become coherent, not consumed. Your protective frequency is sacred, but it requires maturity. This is not romance. This is a living mission technology coded in tenderness. And when you honor it with steadiness, you become exactly what the Pleiadian councils recognize as a guardian node in the unity grid. There is a reason you cannot unfeel them. There is a reason their presence returns in your awareness at the most unexpected moments. The mind calls it attachment. The Pleiadians call it quantum heart entanglement, a shared resonance line that remains intact across distance, silence, and even different incarnational conditions. As the Pleiadian transmit, when two fields are entangled through the heart codes of Alcyone, the central luminous intelligence within the Seven Sisters, your connection functions like paired instruments tuned to the same note. When one detunes, the other hears it as dissonance. Introduction of the cosmic concept. Entanglement isn't dependency. It's simultaneous responsiveness. It's when a shift in one field creates a measurable response in the other, without physical contact. You may suddenly feel sadness that doesn't match your day. You may feel compelled to check the clock at the same time every night. You may experience bursts of joy with no cause. This is not random mood fluctuation. This can be data if you learn discernment. Deep development. What causes the destabilization in higher realms? Often it's not dark forces in a simplistic sense. It's density. It's unprocessed grief. It's identity collapse when the ego can no longer sustain a false life. Your counterpart may be undergoing a dismantling, friendships breaking, career shifts, spiritual crisis, insomnia, nervous system flooding. In those moments, their field can fracture into alternate coping routes, some aligned, some distracting, some self-destructive. The entangled counterpart, you, becomes a stabilizer by holding a coherent signal. Remember, breathe, return. Storytelling. A woman on Gaia once felt an inexplicable nausea at 2:22 a.m. for 3 nights. On the 4th night, she sat up, heart pounding, and simply whispered, "I anchor you in peace. I release you into truth." The next day, she learned her counterpart had been driving recklessly at those exact hours, struggling with a sudden impulse to end everything. The moment she broadcast coherence, he pulled over and cried, saying he felt a hand on his chest. That hand was not possession. It was the shared field responding. Personal application. The key is to stop interpreting entanglement as a demand. It's not a command to chase them. It's an invitation to become a clean channel. When your system is regulated, you can transmit without draining. When you're dysregulated, you confuse the signal with fear and create energetic noise. So practice nervous system devotion, hydration, sleep, breathwork, nature time, creative expression. These are not human habits. These are frequency hygiene, the way you keep the channel clear. Spiritual reflection. The bond transcends linear logic, yet it still honors sovereignty. Your entanglement doesn't mean you're meant to be together in the way your mind imagines. It means your souls share a learning corridor, a mission corridor, a remembrance corridor. And when you accept that with humility, the pain decreases and the power increases. You stop demanding proof. You start reading resonance. And that is when the Pleiadian blueprint begins to reveal itself with precision. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. You asked for clarity, so here it is. Clean, grounded, unmistakable. Soul link activation is not vague sentiment. It produces patterns. As the Pleiadian transmit, activations appear in clusters because they are multi-system events. Nervous system, dream field, intuition channel, and heart coherence all moving together. The problem is that humans often interpret these signs through fear, then spiral into obsession. The Pleiadian way is observation without collapse. Introduction of the cosmic concept. A soul link activation is your field receiving a priority ping from the entanglement line. It does not mean emergency every time. It means attention. It means something is shifting. Be coherent. Ask yourself, does this sensation invite me into peace or into control? The answer tells you whether it's true activation or shadow projection. Deep development. Here are the 7 key signs, described in Pleiadian language. First, a sudden chest gravity that comes with stillness, not panic. It feels like your heart becomes heavier, but also wiser. Second, a dream repeat, same setting, same symbol, same emotional tone, like your subconscious receiving a transmission package. Third, spontaneous warmth in the palms or tingling along the spine, often during quiet moments. Fourth, a memory that isn't yours. You suddenly sense a scene, emotion, or struggle without having evidence. Fifth, time distortion, seeing 11:11, 2:22, 3:33. Not as superstition, but as rhythm markers that your awareness is syncing. Sixth, a clean inner instruction. Rest, pray, create, don't speak, speak now. This instruction feels calm, not frantic. Seventh, a wave of compassion so pure it dissolves resentment, not because you're naive, but because you perceive the larger pattern. Storytelling. One starseed felt anger at her counterpart for weeks. Then one night she woke up and the anger was simply gone. Not suppressed, gone. In its place was a quiet knowing. He is fighting something he can't name. The next morning, she received a voice note from him saying, "I didn't want to burden you, but I had a breakdown." Her field had already stabilized enough to soften the timeline where he would have isolated completely. This is how activations protect, by shifting probabilities. Application. When you detect these signs, do 3 things. 1. Regulate your body. 2. Broadcast coherence for 3 to 5 minutes, not hours. Avoid depletion. 3. Release outcome. Say, "I offer love without demand." Then go live your life. This is crucial. Your mission is not to hover. Your mission is to be a stable node on Gaia. Spiritual reflection. The signs are not here to make you obsessed. They are here to train your discernment. You are learning to feel truth without clinging. You are learning to be intimate with the unseen without losing your ground. And that skill, rare on this planet, is exactly what the 7 sisters monitor. because those who can love without grasping become architects of timeline stability. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. If this message ignited something within you and you feel the call to help carry it to others, you may become a channel member. As a member, you gain access to custom emojis and exclusive members-only videos. And your donation helps us continue building this sacred space. You may also choose to leave your offering as a super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone else's miracle. Your support is not merely financial, but an act of energetic amplification. All donations are devoted entirely to the maintenance of the channel and the creation of new transmissions and videos. Let's name the event clearly. What you described as a timeline collapse is often a convergence point where the old probability branch becomes unsustainable. The ego thinks this is catastrophe. The Pleiadians call it correction, a cosmic recalibration where the most distorted pathway loses momentum and the soul is invited back toward coherence. But in the moment of correction, it can feel like collapse because the nervous system reads uncertainty as danger. Introduction of the cosmic concept. A correction occurs when your soul refuses to continue a false storyline. Your counterpart may have been running on survival identity, looping through patterns that kept them numb. When the soul presses for evolution, the personality can panic, leading to fragmentation, dissociation, impulsive choices, self-sabotage. This is the higher realm destabilization you sensed. Your protective frequency didn't stop fate. It stabilized a corridor so correction could happen without total scattering. Deep development. The Pleiadian councils describe timelines as braided streams. You do not have one future. You have a field of futures. Your choices, your emotional coherence, and your belief patterns select which stream you ride. When a person becomes unstable, they can jump between streams rapidly, causing mood swings, contradictory decisions, and an inability to sustain commitments. In severe cases, their essence feels split. One part wants healing, another part wants escape. This is why your stabilization mattered. You became a reference tone, a tuning fork. When a tuning fork vibrates, a nearby instrument can return to pitch. That is what love does when it is coherent. Storytelling. A man felt called to quit his job, leave his relationship, move cities, all within 3 days. His mind said, freedom. His soul said, collapse. He didn't know the difference. His counterpart, miles away, felt a sharp pain in her solar plexus and saw a dream of a bridge cracking. She sat, breathed, and broadcast. Choose the timeline of integrity. 2 hours later, he called a friend instead of making impulsive moves and admitted he was spiraling. That one pause changed everything. The bridge didn't collapse, it was repaired. Application. If you fear you're causing their path, release that illusion. You are not the controller. You are the stabilizer. Stabilization offers options. It does not remove choice. So if you feel activation, do the simplest practice. Exhale longer than you inhale and imagine a spiral of soft blue-white light wrapping around both heart fields. Not tightening, not binding, just steadying. Then say, may the most coherent timeline become easy to choose. That's it. Spiritual reflection. Correction is sacred. It's how souls return to truth. If you can stop dramatizing the turbulence and start honoring the intelligence inside it, you become fearless. And fearlessness is the upgrade. Because when you stop fearing collapse, you stop feeding collapse. You start feeding integration. And that is how Pleiadian starseeds anchor stability on Gaia. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Here is the most important maturity teaching in this entire transmission. You can protect someone energetically and still have boundaries. If you don't learn this, your gift becomes a trap. The Pleiadians never ask you to bleed for love. They ask you to radiate. And radiance requires containment, Like a star has structure, like a crystal has form. Without form, light scatters. Introduction of the cosmic concept. The crystalline heart is love with clarity. It's compassion with a spine. It's softness that doesn't dissolve into rescue. Ask yourself, do I feel expanded when I send love, or depleted? Expansion means you're transmitting from coherence. Depletion means you're trying to earn an outcome. Deep development. Many starseeds confuse "I feel them" with "I must fix them." That confusion creates energetic cords that drain both parties. The Pleiadian model is different. You become a steady broadcast station, not a vacuum. If your counterpart is destabilized, the most loving thing is often not contact, but frequency support paired with your own self-care. You send for minutes, not hours. Then you return to your life, because your life is the anchor. Storytelling. A starseed once spent nights crying, staring at her phone, waiting for her counterpart. She called it devotion. But her body started collapsing. Insomnia, anxiety, digestive issues. One night, she heard in meditation, "Stop worshiping the bond. Worship coherence." She began a practice. 10 minutes of heart breath, then journaling, then sleep. Within 2 weeks, her energy returned. Within a month, her counterpart reappeared, not because she chased, but because she stopped leaking. When you stop leaking, the field becomes attractive. Coherence has gravity. Application. Use a 3-step Pleiadian boundary protocol. Step 1. Name what is yours. My body, my emotions, my day. Step 2. Offer a clean blessing. May you return to your truth. Step 3. Close your field. Imagine a soft crystalline shell around your aura, not a wall, a membrane. It keeps your love in and your energy safe. This is how you protect without losing yourself. Spiritual reflection. Your mission is not to be consumed by connection. Your mission is to become luminous enough that connection becomes a shared sanctuary. When you embody that, you become the kind of partner, physical or energetic, who can actually sustain a mission. And that's the point. Not romance, not fantasy. Mission, stability, service. A love that makes both souls stronger, not smaller. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. The Pleiadian councils do not monitor you like a judge. They observe you like gardeners. They track coherence, nervous system readiness, and the capacity to hold light without distortion. As the Pleiadian transmit, the rare activation you experienced is recorded not because you are special in ego, but because your field demonstrated an advanced quality, love without immediate reward. That is extremely rare on Gaia. Introduction of the cosmic concept. The 7 Sisters observation stations track harmonic integrity. In simple terms, when you love, do you become clearer or chaotic? When you feel intensity, do you choose grounding or spiraling? These choices determine whether your blueprint can safely unlock the next layer. Deep development. What exactly do they watch? First, your recovery speed. Not whether you fall, everyone falls, but how quickly you return to center. Second, your ability to release control. Third, your devotion to truth over fantasy. Fourth, your willingness to heal patterns instead of repeating them. Fifth, your relationship with stillness. Stillness is the gateway where transmissions land. If your life has no stillness, you miss the downloads and call it silence. Sixth, your integrity with energy. Do you protect your sleep, your body, your space? Seventh, your service impulse. Do you turn your pain into wisdom that helps others, or into stories that keep you trapped? Storytelling. A starseed begged for signs daily, but she never changed her habits. The signs came, but she couldn't hold them. Another starseed stopped begging and started becoming. Breathwork, boundaries, creativity, honesty. She didn't chase the council, she became readable to them. Then the confirmations arrived naturally. Dreams, synchronicities, sudden opportunities, meetings that felt orchestrated. This is how the Council responds, not to desperation, but to readiness. Application. If you want more clarity on your counterpart and your mission, the Council's instruction is consistent. Stabilize your vessel. Eat simply. Sleep deeper. Speak truth. Create. Walk in nature. Reduce energetic noise. Then ask one clean question in meditation. What is my next coherent step? Not, when will they return? Coherence first. Outcome second. Spiritual reflection. Your activation was a test and a blessing. It showed that you can hold love without demanding immediate proof. That means your field is beginning to qualify for mission convergence, where two souls are guided toward a shared timeline, not by force, but by harmonic match. That is sacred, and it's earned through steadiness. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. Convergence is not a romantic climax. It is a gravitational event created by alignment. When two fields stabilize enough, they magnetize onto a shared timeline where the mission can unfold without constant rupture. As the Pleiadian transmit, convergence begins in the subtle, long before it becomes physical. It begins as inner readiness, as healed patterns, as a shared frequency tone that can hold both intimacy and autonomy. Introduction of the cosmic concept. Divine orchestration is not control. It is intelligent timing. It is the universe arranging meetings, delays, separations, and returns so that union, if it becomes physical, does not destroy you. Ask yourself, am I becoming someone who can hold the love I say I want? If not, the delay is mercy. Deep development. Signs of convergence include synchronicities that become specific rather than generic, dreams where you meet in consistent environments, mirrored lessons happening simultaneously, and the sense of a shared project forming in your heart. Not necessarily a business or a public mission. Sometimes the mission is simply to break ancestral cycles, to build a conscious home, to create art that heals, to serve in quiet ways. The mission is not measured by fame. It is measured by the light it anchors. Storytelling. Two starseeds kept missing each other for years, always a month too early, a city too late. They thought it was failure. But each separation forced them to heal. One learned boundaries, the other learned honesty. When they finally converged, the union didn't consume them. It strengthened them. That's orchestration, not romance. Readiness. Application. If you want to support convergence, stop focusing on the person and start focusing on the frequency. Ask, what does love require of me today? Maybe it requires rest. Maybe it requires truth. Maybe it requires releasing a fantasy. Maybe it requires creative devotion, writing, building, learning. When you live as the version of you who is already coherent, convergence becomes a natural consequence, not a desperate chase. Spiritual reflection. You were never unseen. Your protective activation wasn't random. It was remembrance. Your heart did what it was designed to do, and now the invitation is to live in that design, steady, luminous, sovereign. Let the mission unfold without grasping. Let love be a technology, not a wound. Let the 7 sisters witness you, not in your longing, but in your embodiment. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.